All the Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to another state recipe video. It has been a very long time since I have made one of these. A very long time. But I am back with 5 more recipes that we have made for 5 different states, and there's a couple of doozies in this one. So for this video, we have cooked for Kentucky, Indiana, Minnesota, North Dakota, and Missouri. All of the recipes that I'm following will be in the description below, along with any tweaks I might have made to them along the way. Also, all of the history that I talk about for these recipes, I will also link any articles or anything or websites that I found that information in the description box below as well. Alright, but wasting no time, jumping right in, the first state that we cooked for is Indiana. Today's recipe is Indiana for this state, and we are cooking breaded pork tenderloin sandwiches. So, with my whole setup here, I got these, and they are boneless loin center cut pork chops, and I'm fairly confident that's what you need to get. Basically, what I have to do, I have those, have a little baggie here, and I have Amish Thor's hammer, and I need to, as Bob Ross would say, beat the devil out of these until they are yay thick. Then we are going to use this egg wash that I put together and then cover them in breadcrumbs and fry them on the stovetop. And that's your sandwich. And you top it with whatever normal sandwich things you want and you eat it. All right, so I'm gonna take this guy and put it in the, I'm not gonna seal it because I feel like it's a bad idea. All right, and nothing to see here. So this is kind of what you're going for, where you want it to be really thinned out, really big, kind of oblong shaped. I went a little too thin right there, so it's a little like hole, but you know, whatever. I'm gonna take this out and basically just put it back into here, I think, and let that hang out until I'm ready to bread them. So now it is time to go ahead and start breading these. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make myself a little assembly line here. So we have the meat, the egg wash, the breading, and then they're going to go onto here, where then they will sit until it is time to start fully cooking them. Egg wash with this hand. Make sure all that seasoning gets all over there nice. Set it in here. Really make sure breadcrumbs get on there good. Excess, set it over there. I have those down there, and the meat's up here. Got you guys angled about there so you're out of the way, hopefully out of splash range. I'm gonna go ahead and grab this first one. Oh yeah, okay. Turn that heat down a little. You can actually probably get 2 in here. The breaded pork tenderloin is thought to have originated at Nick's Kitchen in Huntington, Indiana, back in 1908. Nick adapted the Viennese Wiener Schnitzel, which is thin cuts of veal breaded and fried. He used pork instead of veal and turned them into sandwiches. Okay. Dan said that he Dan said that he is just now leaving work, so I went ahead and just preheated the oven a little bit just to make it warm and then shut it off.
and put the tenderloins in a container in the oven just to help keep them warm. He should be home in about 10 minutes max, and everything else is ready, so all he'll have to do is change and then we can eat.
Oh, wow. That looks good. Well done.
Thank you. So the recipe calls for like Kaiser rolls, but we just got the 88-cent hamburger buns because we don't care that much. It's not gonna make a massive difference. I'm not worried about it. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. I can dig that.
Mm-hmm. What I especially like is that although it's obviously fried,
Yep.
the fresh ingredients of the onion, tomato, lettuce, pickle, all of that added on really cuts through the fried flavor, so it doesn't taste as fried and it's not so heavy.
Yep.
I really like that.
I agree.
I also like it's really big.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely approve. This is definitely going in my recipes to make again.
Next up on our meal list is Kentucky.
Whew, I'm sitting down because I'm sick. We are cooking for Kentucky today, and you are going to have to bear with me because I do not feel great. I woke up with a sore throat and my nose has been stuffed all day. So I have my tea that you're going to see probably in a lot of these shots. For Kentucky, we are making hot brown. This is a sandwich type meal from what I've gathered. It's just, you don't have two pieces of bread, you have one. But from what I've seen of this, it is essentially a very thick piece of bread that is cooked French toast style with slices of thick cut turkey breast on top of it, a cheese gravy almost layered over that, some roasted tomato on top of that, and then thick pieces of crispy bacon on top of that. The first step is to get the turkey actually cooking. So I have my little tiny turkey breast. Oh, that's water. I have my little turkey breast right there. I'm going to get seasoned. You just cover it with butter and salt and pepper and bake it. So I'm gonna do that, time lapse that a little for you, and then we'll jump into the next steps once that gets a little closer to being done cooking.
I don't know, I think that all looks pretty good. A+ baking ability. By baking, I mean bacon.
Turkey is baked and cooling. I have the bacon done and set aside. I'm going to get the cheese sauce going. I just have the bread left, yeah? Just those two other things? Yes, and then I have a couple tomatoes. It called for really like the great big round tomatoes, but Aldi didn't have any of those, and I didn't feel like going back to the store later to get them, so we're just gonna use these little guys, these little Romas. That last egg was one-handed, I just needed you to know that.
Hot brown was created in 1923 at the Brown Hotel in Louisville, Kentucky. It was one of the two sandwiches created as an alternative to ham and egg late-night dinners for hungry dancing customers.
So I think, yes, that this is supposed to be eaten with a fork and a knife. I genuinely don't know for sure.
Didn't say anyway.
It did not specify. There was no video explaining how to eat it, no tutorials. So, I mean, a part of me wants to pick it up and eat it like a sandwich, but the second I just tried that, it seems impossible, so.
All right.
You get a bite where you get a little bit of everything in it.
That's, I think, the idea. Ready?
Wow. There is so much happening in my mouth right now.
Yeah. But I actually like that a lot. Between the tomato, the cheese, the turkey, the bread.
The bacon.
Kentucky, you're not so strange after all.
Disclaimer, we never thought Kentucky was strange to begin with. I don't know what I expected, but it wasn't this.
No, me neither.
I will say the overall consistency is very mushy. The bread is very mushy because of all of the egg mixture that it sopped up. The turkey is basically fall apart. The tomato is very mushy. You have the cheese sauce over top of it that helps all of that sort of melch together. The only thing that isn't super mushy is the bacon, but because I'm not a bacon chef, my bacon is soft rather than crunchy. So, and you take a bite of it, and it's like, at first all you taste is the immense amount of mush, but then suddenly you taste the butter and the bread itself. Then you get a flavor of turkey in there, and then the bacon hits, and it's like, blah! That's really, like, surprisingly good.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
High five.
Nope.
All right, and now we are heading north to good old Minnesota.
Today's state we are cooking for Minnesota, and for Minnesota we are making some hot dish.
For those of you who do not live in Minnesota, a hot dish is a casserole. But for this particular recipe, to encompass the state of Minnesota, you really can't say that without having the accent. It doesn't work. We're going to be making tater tot hot dish. So I found a recipe online that has really good reviews. It looked really, really simple, and I was like, I'm gonna do this one. And while looking at it, I started scrolling through the comments, because that is one thing that I do a lot during these recipes, is I always read the comments, because if it is a well-known recipe for that state, most likely you're going to get people who live in that state commenting on it and tweaking it. It was very straightforward, I think like 4 ingredients, and a ton of people were like, I was born and raised in Minnesota. All of them were saying this is a great base, but a lot of them were adding things to it or tweaking certain things. So I'm taking direct instruction changes from them, and I'm going to be making it using a lot of those bits of information. So I'm gonna do the choppity chop. We have all this cut up. I'm going to go ahead and get to browning the meat with this in it. I'll probably add a little salt and pepper, and I'll be right back. So I have the meat browned, which you can see hanging out over here. And the rest of the ingredients are very simple, and I did actually end up changing 2 of the 3 ingredients left. They call for like a can of vegetables. I got a bag of mixed vegetables that I'm going to be using, and then it called for 2 cans of cream of mushroom. A lot of the comments were saying that they substituted cream of mushroom for cream of chicken or cream of celery, and some people used 1 and 1, and so there was a lot of varied options. So I decided to go for 1 can of cream of mushroom and 1 can of cream of celery. It says in the original instructions very clearly to layer the vegetables and then the creams of things on top, not mixing them. But so many of the comments, once again, contradicted that and said to mix things. I'm going to throw in the vegetables and both of the cans of cream of things, and mix them all up before putting them on top of here.
Hot dish is essentially a casserole that includes a starch, protein, and vegetable. They were popularized during World War I when families needed to stretch food to make it last longer. And in 1956, when tater tots were invented, well, that changed hot dishes forever.
That looks colorful. Kind of like Rice Krispie treats, but made from tricks. I'm really hungry.
Clearly.
So.
And then it says to top with shredded cheese when you serve it. So I'm probably going to end up adding some about 5 or 10 minutes before it's done baking, but it bakes for almost an hour, so I'm gonna stick it in and I'll see you guys when we do the taste test.
Hot. Yeah, so far so good.
It's definitely a casserole.
Yeah, it's good. It's very much like a comfort casserole. It's very much a nice comfort dish. A comfort hot dish.
Then the second to last state that we're cooking for today is Missouri.
We are cooking for Missouri today, and for Missouri today we are making toasted raviolis. And from the looks of these, everything that I've seen online, it looks like it's very, very simple. You just take the ravioli, you bread it, you fry it. Very simple, and then you put some spaghetti sauce over it. It's gonna be very, very easy to do. I'm sure if you wanted like intense, authentic, you could make the raviolis from scratch. You stuff them full of some meat, you fry them, and then you make the tomato sauce from scratch and everything else. I'm not gonna do all of that. I bought frozen ravioli. I bought a jar of tomato spaghetti sauce. We're just gonna do it that way. So the traditional way of cooking them is deep frying. I am going to try a couple of different ways of cooking them just because I want variety for future meals if we do like this and we want to keep it. I bought a bag of cheese ravioli and meat-filled ravioli, and I am going to bread and deep fry half of the cheese and half of the meat, and then I'm going to bread and bake the other half of both of those. So a lot of people on this recipe that I'm following have said that they prefer them baked. It's not the traditional way, but I wanted to give that a try to see how the flavors compared and if it's something that we would want to keep for the future.
The origins of toasted ravioli are disputed between predominantly two restaurants. Old Donnie's and Angelo's both claim similar stories that ravioli were accidentally dropped into hot oil and the beloved recipe was born. It was named toasted, supposedly because that sounded more appealing than deep fried.
Now it's time to fry some stuff. Alright, you're joining us at our kitchen counter again.
Tastes like delicious ravioli.
Yeah, it just tastes like a fried rav.
The texture is a little bit different.
How so?
As far as the crunchy texture to the outside. You don't normally get with a ravioli, I don't think.
Don't know how I feel about the cheese ones.
No?
Yeah.
Mm.
No. It was just the flavor that I had to get used to.
Yeah. I like cheese one.
Yeah. No, it's It's very simple. I think if I had to choose, though, I would choose the meat one over the cheese one. That has a better flavor profile altogether. Definitely think the sauce helps.
Oh yeah.
Cool. I think that's a win.
Yeah, we got Missouri.
Alright.
Alright, and the final state for this video is North Dakota.
Oh! For North Dakota. For North Dakota, we are making Neckla soup. We're also having guests over, so Dan and Mom are kind of going all over the place getting stuff ready. So ignore all of the background noises that you hear. Especially that one. Oh my gosh, too much. Neckla soup is a potato and dumpling soup. Neckla particularly referring to the dumplings. So I have, the recipe that I am using is actually a family recipe from my cousin on my dad's side of the family, mother-in-law. And it is her homemade Neckla soup recipe that I'm following, so I'm very excited that I get to actually use a family recipe and not just a random one I found online. So, I'm here, Peggy!
Okay, I won't get enough.
Is it? You can say hi if you want.
Hi.
Sarah's like,
That's
that's
it.
probably
on
there.
there. 9 cookies.
I'll be loading and putting my friend.
Oh, biscuits. Whichever country you come from.
True. I already have the soup on the stove over there. You can't actually see it right now, but it's you can kind of see the bottom of it right there. But that is already cooking. Nothing exciting. It's your basic broth soup. I diced up potatoes, threw it in, an onion, and threw it in. Nothing that fancy. What I'm going to show you though is making the dumplings, because in all of the baking that I've done, I have actually never made dumplings before, which it's an incredibly simple thing to do apparently, and I've just never done it. So we are going to work on making these dumplings and dropping them in, and then this is going to simmer for like an hour, and then we're gonna eat it and see how it goes, and hopefully it's good. It's probably gonna be really starchy, but I'm kind of hoping the starch cooks out a little bit, and then it's really good. But we're gonna find out together.
Neckla soup is originally a German recipe, Neckla referring to the dumplings in the soup. By the late 1800s, many Germans were immigrating to America, lots of them landing in North Dakota. And with this state being a large producer of wheat, it was natural for Neckla soup to become so popular.
I have the dumpling mixture all made right here, and my soup is boiling, so now it says to drop it in by about a half a teaspoon each into there, so that's what I'm gonna do. That's so tiny though, it's gonna make so many. Those are gonna be really messy. Yeah, I think I might do that good with the amount of dumplings that's in here, because that's a lot of dumplings. Well, maybe I'll add more. This, watch out, Miss Peg. This is what the soup looks like. So basically now this has to simmer for like almost an hour. So we're gonna let it go for about a half hour or so and just kind of turn the heat up a little and hope that it's fine, because this took a little longer than I expected it to. So give it a little stir, bring it back up to a simmer, let it do its thing, clean that out, and I'll probably catch up with you guys. Oh, the last step is then to add this is a pint of half and half. So I'll do that and then let it simmer for like 10 more minutes and then you eat it. So I'll probably catch up to you guys for the taste test.
Moment of truth.
So we all taste it at the same time.
Sure.
Oh, it's very good. I love the broth.
Have you tasted it?
Oh, you missed the cue.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I like the broth.
Yeah.
That's what I just said, yeah.
This is very good, Julie.
Thank you. I'm glad the dumplings are cooked all the way
Credit
through.
to the
Yeah,
North
they're
Dakotans.
North Dakotans.
Mm.
Very much like a potato soup.
And
In which there is potatoes in it. But
It does not need salt and pepper.
that's
Mm.
good. No. Very cool.
I like this a lot, actually.
Awesome.
Wow.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
It is really
Alright. Yeah. Cool.
Mhm.
good. So here,
Now, I might fiddle with like adding different.
Oh yeah, we can definitely
Ingredients.
add other things to it, yeah.
Alright, and those are all of the states for this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Let me know if you have lived in any of these states at any point and have tried these foods, if you've made them, or if just you have a family recipe that passed down through your family that you love. Let me know if you approve of these recipes, if I did them justice, or if there were things that you think I should change to improve on them. If you wanted to watch any of the other state recipe videos that I made, you can click the card in the corner right there, and it'll also be in the description box below this video. Also in the description box, like I said at the beginning of this video, I will have all of the recipes that I followed for these 5 states, and all of the websites that I got the history from linked as well. I will also have a list of all of the states that I have not made a meal for yet. So if you've watched the series so far and I haven't cooked for your state yet, or you know a food that's really popular in a specific state, check the description box to see if that state is on the list, and then leave your suggestions of what I should cook for that state in the comments below, because I am always looking for people who have actually lived in the states to give me feedback, because otherwise I'm just going off of what the internet tells me. I hope you guys all have had a great week, and I hope you have a great week, and I will see you on Sunday. Bye! Going back over all of these states, I'm still blown away at how good that hot brown was. We have made that easily 5 times since making the original recipe. It is a fantastic leftover after Thanksgiving, because there's all of that turkey. You already probably have bread on hand.